Hello, my name is Marcello Bikecki with Straight Score. Today I'm going to show you the new features that are in Shoot Pro 115. Alright, so starting out, the first thing that I'd like to talk about is how we've implemented an automatic backup system. So 3S will automatically back up on the server every half hour and every single time that you change the event number. So if I change the event number to 2, and then if I change it to 3, and then if I change it to 4 and 5, every single time it's going to start a new backup. So we'll give that just a second, so that way I have some test data to show you. And if we move back to event 1, we're now back at event 1. In order to be able to access these, we removed menu option number 4, as number 3 did the same thing. Number 3 gives you the option to both backup and restore. It was just redundant, so we replaced that with open the reports folder. Now you may not know this, but 3S actually does save some reports to PDFs automatically. So for example, it will save your shooter receipts, it's going to save your class bumps, and then underneath the other folder, we'll have our automatic backups. So if I go ahead and open up let's go back to the very beginning. So underneath the reports folder, I'll have the Wyoming State shoot. Underneath other, I will have a folder for each day of my shoot. Right now I only have one day that I've gone through, so that's going to be Monday. If I open that up, here I can see my backup files that have automatically been generated. So I can restore to one of these need be. You can also locate this underneath this PC, go to the C drive, 3S, reports, and then that's where it's going to list out your shoots. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Next up, I would like to talk about tournament setup. So here we have a couple of new options. We have our record check number and multi-shooter total and payment types option, and then we also have discounted targets apply to. So the record check numbers and multi-shooter total and payment types, what that does is after you're done cashiering a shooter, it comes up and says, this is the total. Do you want to combine the total from somebody else who was cashiered today? If you say yes, you select who you want, it updates the total. And then finally, you're allowed to specify whether that shooter paid with cash, check, card, or none. The discounted targets applies to, that's for special classes that get discount targets. So for example, let's say that we have juniors who are not allowed to play options in order to get discounted targets. We can say that that discount applies per event or per shoot. So if it's set to per event, if that shooter plays one option in an event, then they're full price targets for that one event. Otherwise, if it's set to whole shoot, if they play one option in the entire tournament, then they are full price targets for the entire tournament. Close out of that, so I'm going to set mine up to record check numbers and whole shoot. Go ahead and close out of that. 3S is now going to need to restart. And the other thing is on tournament end, over on the client, if we go ahead and try to open up tournament end, this big red and black flashing box is going to show up, alerting us that we are on a client computer. And if you are sure that you want to delete the tournament from the client computer, select yes. It's going to ask you if you're sure, select yes, and now the delete button becomes enabled and you're able to clear the tournament. There's also this checkbox down here if you want to skip the automatic backup. However, I don't really suggest doing this. I would leave the automatic backup enabled. What that does is when you hit the delete button, it creates one last backup of your tournament on whatever computer that you're on, and then it deletes the tournament. So that way you always have that last line of defense in case if something gets cleared out that you didn't intend to get cleared out. I'm going to go ahead and board back out of that and switch on over to our server again. Now we have a couple new features when we're classifying a shooter. So I'm going to go ahead and pull myself up, and here when I hit done, it's going to ask me to confirm my classification. You can either have a touchscreen set up with your classification machines, or you can just have a second monitor facing them. This is going to come up, make everything nice and big so the shooter can see it. If they approve of their classification, select yes. If not, select no. If you select no, this little message comes up saying the shooter's declined their classification. If it is correct, select yes. Moves off classifying just like before. Now, the other new option is for those of you who print out barcode stickers. After classification, you can just click this one button and it'll print out a barcode sticker for that shooter. In order to enable the barcode stickers, go to File, Computer Settings, and then select the checkbox that says Enable Barcode Printer. Select your printer and the label type. Typically 2x1 labels are used for zebra printers, 1 7/8 by 1/2. That's going to be used for brother label printers, and 2/3 by 2 1/8. That is going to be your Dymo printers. Now moving off to squatting, we have some new keyboard shortcuts. So I'm going to go ahead and pull myself up once again. So if I click this keyboard button, I can see that we now have N for the next 3 events, and L for the previous 3 events, and G to go to a squad number. So for example, let's say that I don't want to shoot the first 3 events. I can just press the N key. That's going to move us to events 4, 5, and 6. I can do that again. It's going to take us to 7, 8, and 9. If I want to move back one, I press the L key, moves us back one. Then I can use my other shortcuts, such as A to add myself or D to delete. But then there's also the G key, which will allow us to jump to a squad number. So let's say I want to jump to squad 40. I can just type in 40, press enter, and now we're down here at squad 40. Looks like there's openings on 40 and 43. Now I can just squad like normal. So that's what's new in squatting. Moving off to cashiering. Let's find myself again. So once I put myself into the tournament, you'll notice that as soon as I put myself into an event, the exit button goes away. So as soon as the total changes, that exit button gets hidden. If I were to press the exit button in 114 or below, this would have been marked as paid, but it wouldn't show up on any transaction logs unless if you were looking for exits. So this prevents from balancing issues. And so now I'm just going to pay for everything in event 1. When I select done and say yes, because we have that record payment types checkbox from tournament setup enabled, this screen is going to show up. This is going to give us our total due and today's date. And we can select to combine totals for multiple shooters. So I can just double click, add, and it'll add the totals together for all of these shooters. So myself, and let's say that I'm paying for Leslie. So our combined total is $92. That reflects up there. And then I can say whether I'm paying with check for how much, or I can say that I'm paying with cash. So if I say that I'm paying $100 in cash, it says that I owe them $8 in change. However, I'm going to mark this transaction as check, so that way I can show you how this works a little bit later on. So click done, transaction goes through just like normal, and we can click close. Now in order to get that information, we can just go to reports, finance, workstation finance, and then select transactions. Now we can pull a all transactions report or check only transaction report. If I select check only transactions and click print, this is going to give me the check number, how much the check was for, and how much the transaction was for. So let's say that somebody wrote a check for $19 instead of $20, it would show up there. And then also down here at the bottom, our balance would show that we are off. And then we can also do multiple people, and if we print that report, it shows that who paid for who. So I paid for Leslie, so it says that I paid with a check, I paid for multiple people, and then it says that I paid $72 and I paid $20 for whoever that was. And now I can close out of this. And then the next thing is if we go to shooter and total entered, we now have a couple new options. So we can preview a competition factor and select what events are contributing to that competition factor. And then down here, it'll say that this would be a competition factor 5 because it has this many shooters. Of course, this is just an estimate, it's not a guarantee. And of course, we can print this report now. And any event that is bold is included in the competition factor. If we scroll down to the bottom, it's going to tell us our competition factor and our totals, just like it does on the regular form. But now we have a report that we can print out and save for later. So we can go ahead and move on to the rolling scoreboard, which is our biggest change in Shoot Pro 1.15. So this has been split out into two screens. So there's the control screen and then there's the rolling scoreboard screen. Now we have some new options. So you are able to enable rolling squads, which will show down at the bottom. You're able to fully customize the grid, so you can change the color however you see fit. You're able to do so. So we'll go with black and white, just like normal. And all of these settings are saved. So once I click the run button, those settings are saved. So our rolling scoreboard starts down here at the bottom, or our rolling squad starts down here at the bottom. Let's say we don't like that feature, we want to turn it off. We can just come back up here, check on show rolling squads, goes away, gets disabled immediately. The other thing that we can do is we can stop the rolling scoreboard, move to event 2, click run without even closing the rolling scoreboard. We can switch events on the fly now. Also up here at the top, the scores entered total has been corrected. It was off by 1 in previous versions of Shoot Pro. That has since been fixed. So all of our settings are saved automatically. So if I were to, let's say, just turn on a couple of these features, click stop, exit, and then reopen the rolling scoreboard, all of our settings have been saved, and next time that we open up the rolling scoreboard, we can just hit run and it goes back to how it was just before. So we don't have to reconfigure the rolling scoreboard every single time that we open it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop and exit. Now underneath reports, we have a couple new features. So underneath trophy report, we can now do a show tally at the bottom. So if we just scroll down to the very bottom of this last page on this report, it'll break down each of our categories or each of our classes and tell us how many shooters were in each one of those classes. And then underneath our winners and shoot-offs section, we have a completely new program with that. It's a little bit easier to use. You're able to change your formatting. So I can say that I want this one to be bold. I want this one to be bold. I want this one to be struck through. Same thing here. Strike through, and strike through. We have a settings section. So you're able to specify a 4x6 index card printer. So you can just print these out as your shoot-offs get finalized. I know that there's a few clubs that use this. I'm not sure how many there are out there, but it's a really useful feature. So you just right-click, send to trophy desk. That will automatically print out that index card to the trophy desk. And there's also a new option where you can just reorganize by dragging and dropping instead of playing around with the sequence number. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Now, if you're a Todd Alber's Shoot Winners program user, there's a menu option called 3S Link. If you enable the export on that feature, it will automatically populate that table so you're able to track your shoot-offs using 3S. Now, the last thing for the report section I'd like to show you is the earned yardage report. If I go ahead and open this up, let's open it up to an actual doubles event, or handicap event. So if I click find, it is actually going to automatically figure out what my yardage punches are. So with 190 shooters, we're going to be giving out a yard and a half. However, it also looks at our automatic punches, and that will automatically override. So score of 96, score of 95, we'll get a half punch. Then I can just click run. Everything's automatically figured out. I don't have to put any thought into it. And then the very last thing that I'd like to show you today is the new network debugging tool. So if we go to our 3S Shoot Pro folder, we'll see a folder called Debug Shoot Pro Network. If I open that up, it brings up this screen here, and I can perform the test on a client machine or on the server. Since right now I am on the server, I'm going to select Perform Test on the server, and it's going to go through all of my configuration and see if there's something that's wrong. So here it's saying, hey, there's 3S server is possibly not allowed through the firewall. Double click this. And when you double click that, it'll give you a link. If you click that link, it's going to open our website to a full tutorial on how to fix that networking issue. And then at the bottom of the tutorial, on some of them, there may also be a YouTube video, and you can go watch that YouTube video and learn how to fix the issue yourself. I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. And if we go back over to our client computer, close out of 3S, go run that network debugging tool on this. I'm going to say I want to run this as a client. It's going to go through, check if it can communicate with the server. Looks like everything's already passed, so no problems there. But if I were to stop the server, rerun that, here we can see that it's trying to figure out what's wrong. It knows that something's not right. It can talk to the server, but it's not able to talk to the database. So it's trying to figure out what's wrong with the database connection, so we'll give it a few more seconds to run. And here it is saying that the server port is closed. If I double click on that, it will give us a little bit more information about what could be wrong. So the server application is not running, which is our current situation. Something's blocking the network port through the firewall. The computer is not on the same network, the port is blocked by the router, and you are on a network that is ran by your state organization or some IT group. You'll need to contact them in order to allow your computers to talk on the local network. And so that's the new network debugging tool. We'll probably have a full support video on that here shortly. So switching back to our server, there's one last thing that I want to talk about with those automatic backups, and that is the fast and easy way to clear up disk space that's going to take up. So if we just go to Utilities and go to option number 7, Purge Automatic Backups, this screen is going to show up, and this is going to give us the option to clear all of our backups out. So how this works is it goes through shoot by shoot, day by day, and will delete all but the latest backup from each day. So if I click Purge, click Yes, it's going to say it deleted 4 files and it saved us 830.5 megabytes of disk space. Now, if I were to go back to File menu number 4 and open up our Wyoming State Shoot and our automatic backups folder, I can see that only the latest backup has been saved. Alright, well, that is everything that is new in Shoot Pro 115.
If you have any questions, feel free to email us at support@shootingsportsoftware.com or call us at 1-801-396-7800. If you like that video, hit the thumbs up button. If you'd like to see when we post new content, hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to receive notifications on when we post new videos, hit the bell icon. Thanks for watching.
Bye.